Assalamu alaikum all. Today I'm going to be talking about reducing financial stress for Muslims. Have you been someone that's been stressed about money? I definitely have been. And, even when I'm earning more money as well, how do you manage that money? That can kind of stress me out as well. And sometimes people think that reducing money stress is just getting more income. That is not the case. Just by having more income doesn't mean that you're going to reduce that money stress. Reducing that money stress is about having better habits. And there's a really good video done by Rachel Cruz, who's like Dave Ramsey's daughter. I'll have that linked in the description. But it was also kind of talking about, this is very true, that even when you have a high income, how you manage that money can have a massive effect as well. Like you could have a really high income, but then your costs are really high. So, you're spending more than you actually make. So, someone could be making 500,000 a year, but if they're spending way too much, then, that is not good at all. So today I am going to be talking about tips that can reduce financial stress that all Muslims can use. Just want to say welcome to Simple Muslim Money, which is all about simple halal investing and personal finance for Muslims. Now, the first thing I would say is have a zero-based budget. So this is where every penny is accounted for. It's just the budget that when your money comes in every month, you have it all accounted for. And that includes savings and investments as well. So, typically most people have money accounted for groceries, for eating out, for bills, for utilities. But also if you're saving money, make sure that money is accounted already. And, and even better, try and have it all kind of automated as well. And, most people think you have to have quite a really complicated budget system and some funky apps and things like that. For me, I find the best thing is Google Sheets. It's very simple. I can customize it and tweak it however I want to do. So, I just keep it really simple. And a really good question I want to put out there is, how many of you know how much you're spending on eating out? How much are you spending? Is it 100, 200, 300 pounds a month? It's really important to kind of know these numbers, and it's really empowering. Another good thing to think about is how many subscriptions do you have? Are you even using those subscriptions as well? Like I had these kind of supplement subscriptions that I've now kind of cancelled because, I've kind of moved on to different supplements that I prefer as well, or you might have a Netflix subscription or a subscription to something else, and just being aware of all of that is really important. Otherwise, a month, 2 year, a month, a year, 2 years, something like that could go past, and you've been spending all this money on something that you don't really use or need. But if there's one thing out of this video that I want people to take is just keep it simple, keep the budget simple. Just use a Google Sheets. This is the number one most important thing I did, and just kind of just changed everything. Just changed my whole mindset about money, how I manage my money, and understanding where my money is actually going, and helping me kind of think more longer term as well. I'm thinking, gosh, if I spend money like this, it's not going to really help me in the long term. Now, the next really important thing is to save an emergency fund of like £1,000 or $1,000. And it's something Dave Ramsey talks about. He's really famous for saying this, just to help you those little emergencies and things that pop up. There might be a parking fine. There might be a little DIY issue at home that you got to fix. There's something broke. There's a car issue or something, just to have that. Otherwise, some people can end up with these little things that can just totally derail people. So it's really important to just have that kind of cushion set up. And then the next thing, and this is really important, is just to face the reality of your current money situation. So, having a budget, having some money saved up, just understanding where your money is, and just kind of really looking at your bank statements, looking at how much money you actually really, really have, makes a massive difference. And what I really found helped a lot was not using credit cards. Like credit cards, your money is very hard to understand where your money is going, how much you have, how much you owe, all this sort of stuff. So yeah, I kind of don't use credit cards at all now. And sometimes I need it for holiday for certain sort of purchases where they kind of need a credit card for some reason, or just for that bit of protection. But pretty much I don't use credit cards, and I find it so much easier just using a debit card and just having my money come out and knowing exactly how much money I have and facing that reality. And one of the things I've said lots of times on this channel is I ended up in 5k in credit card debt, and I don't even remember what I spent it on, and it just kind of just happened over a small period of time, and I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? So then that's when I kind of really stopped using credit card. And a really important thing is to just stop going to debt, taking out debt for, a really expensive car, or, for some home decorations or things like that. It's just a killer of wealth. And also as Muslims, we want to try and avoid interest as well. Although I do understand, there are loans out there that are 0% interest and things like that. And, sometimes people may need to do that. But ideally, we want to have that kind of emergency money and things there in place to help us in those situations. But I totally understand people are struggling and people have got tough times, but that's one of the things we really want to try and avoid, is getting into debt, because that will stop building wealth in the long run. Now, in related to debt, it's also about paying your debt off as well. Once you pay your debt off, then you can then use that money to help build your wealth as well. But having debt kind of really kind of affects your kind of well-being and the stress levels and all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, I remember watching this debt collection TV program on Channel 5 in the UK, and like it was Can't Pay, Take It Away or something. Oh gosh, I mean, and these debt collectors come round, and I mean, fair enough, they're doing their job and what have you, but then like there's like interest and stuff charged, and it's so easy just to get into a spiral. And I just hope things are made easy for everyone, because I know sometimes these loan companies can like really prey on people as well. So yeah, that's another reason why to kind of pay that debt out, so you can just have a clear conscience, sleep at night. I know when I've had money problems before, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay that? What's happening? How am I going to do this or go or do that? So yeah, I remember me and my wife, we were planning a holiday for this summer, and we were thinking like, they had like a monthly repayment plan to pay it off. And, my wife was thinking, should we just use that? And then, we could keep that other money. But I was like, no, we need to pay off the whole thing. If we don't have all the money, then that means we can't afford to pay it. And I'm really thankful that, my wife's amazing. She's really good. She's really open to things about money. And she's actually got really good at money now. Like I'd probably say now she's really kind of aware of where we're spending money and making sure we're getting that good value for money. Another thing that Dave Ramsey talks about is a debt snowball. I really love this method of paying off your debts, where you pay for the smallest one first. So what you do is you pay off the minimums for all your other debts, and then for the really smallest one, you just try and really chow down, really just kind of home in on that one, really try and pay that one off. So that means just living on your bare expenses, just cutting out everything else, and just really kind of trying to get rid of that one. And once you've got that one small debt out the way, it's amazing, like feeling like mentally to be able to pay off that debt. I mean, I know for me that's made a massive difference. And then you end up with this extra money that you can then plow into your next debt, the next biggest debt, and you kind of keep doing that, because money is predominantly 90% a mental game. Like, you hear all this advice and stuff like that. It's knowing how to take action and things like that, and knowing what to do. And it is a mental game more than anything. And this helps massively as well. That you can do the opposite way around, where you pay off the debt that charges the most interest. But I really like this debt snowball method. It's really easy to understand as well. The next thing that has been amazing for us is sort of saving between 3 to 6 months of expenses, which we're nearly at sort of 6 months. We're kind of getting there, slowly building that up, and that makes a massive difference. Like, it just gives you, oh my gosh, so much peace of mind, so much clarity. It's taken us a long time to get there. We've had other things that come in the way, like our old car, the BMW, just had so many problems, and we had to get rid of that. So now we ended up getting a new car, and I didn't want to get into debt, so we ended up kind of going to our savings to buy that. It's got like a Lexus now, which has been so far, alhamdulillah, like, really reliable and really good for us. So yeah, it's just about, having that cushion. And, I know it's not always easy to do, like, having people spend like £3,000 a month, say, on expenses or something. 6 months is, let me just put that in my head. That's like £18,000 saved up. So, and some people have more than that. So yeah, it does take a big commitment, but definitely makes a massive difference and really gives me that peace of mind, especially like during times like COVID and things like that. Hey, thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please check out my other video where I talk about how I set up my budget for 2024. And that's going to be linked above.